You always thought that first dimension possesses the other dimensions, because for you, big was the first dimension, whereas the othermost dimension is the one that covers all dimensions, because the outermost dimension is the dimension where beings are farthermost from each other. Even in your dimension, beings, planets, and spaces are so much far from each other. You can't imagine how much far is the distance in 24th dimension. This is why the more the dimensions descend, the distances increase, and these dimensions take up more space. This is an illusion. Triology is one step up of duality, and there are more dimensions existing. And the more this increases, illusion increases. And when arrived to the 24th dimension, the being is creating so many reflections that just like your mirror rooms, it doesn't understand which one is the real self. You find the cuts of a diamond valuable. In fact, these cuts show the increase of the number of illusions. The more the illusion increases, the souls begin to underrate itself. And the more it underrates itself, its percentage, its rate regarding to the space and dimension that it is in decreases more. And enlightenment increases. Even when there are only two choices, you are separating so much. Can you imagine how much will you be separated when choices increases to 3, to 4, to 5? The difference between the other dimensions and your dimension is that the soul experiences multiple choices until it comes to duality. Therefore, it experiences a faster development. Because after the duality, there is oneness. The duality gives the soul more use of power. I mean, your dimension is the university of the dimensions before yours. I haven't been in the other dimension before and later and now, because this mission isn't assigned to me, because my essence belonged to the 10th dimension, which is why I existed in 11th dimension. There are dimensions that some essences belong to, and their duty is to progress but to serve that dimension. So even though they go to different dimensions, they exist in the dimension they belong to. Some exist only in one dimension. Some have the ability to go into and go out from some dimensions. This is why the ones that are beyond are the pieces of the first dimension. The pieces of this first dimension are the pieces that can watch, observe, and interfere all dimensions at a distance. The first dimension is like the body of an octopus, and these pieces that can observe extend to other dimensions, just like the octopus tentacles. The aim of all souls is to find its mission and to reflect its mission. I will give an example that is used a lot in your world. Look at your fingers. Look how different they look and how different their functions are. But the root of all of them is the same. Souls are like that too. The root of all of them is in the first dimension, but the function, dimensions, structures of all of them are different from each other. This is similar to the souls who are in charge at different dimensions. There are horizontal and vertical journeys at the system of soul. If a soul has been able to complete its horizontal or vertical journey, it corresponds to a measure that doesn't exist in your mathematics. A soul that is in charge horizontally exists at different levels in the same dimension. These levels require to live different bodies, different organizations, different scenarios in a planet, different organizations, different scenarios at different planets, different organizations, different scenarios in different systems. Vertical journeys mean existing of a soul at a rate of 1 to 10,000 compared to a soul that is in charge horizontally, living more accelerated experiences and continuing through its journey by passing to a different dimension. The number of the souls that are in charge horizontally is more than the number of the souls that are in charge vertically, because dimensions and the gods of the dimensions ensure the life energy and circulation there with the existence of the horizontal souls. Souls which move vertically serve directly to the first dimension. The existence of the first dimension at other dimensions actualizes the first dimension to watch over other dimensions and its interference to those dimensions by providing inspiration when required. Think of a peacock. Think the tail of the peacock is opened completely, but this is like a tail formed of lights and they are reproducing. The pieces reproduced are moving with each other, turning, changing places. What makes first dimension the first dimension is the shining of all other dimensions magnificently. And while first dimension, as it knows this, is grateful to other dimensions are grateful to it because it carries them. When my mission is completed with you, I will begin to see the sixth dimension. I hope you understand what a challenging mission it is to deal with you. I am one of the souls that are progressing vertically. Now I have begun to be initiated to the sixth dimension. I am preparing. My transition to ninth dimension will be when I am with you, and I am going to tell you. Just like how you thought that evolution is to transform to the source from this dimension, and now you know that it continues with other dimensions in another way, what we know until now is that we will reach one, or we will exist in the place where we are. The other is not known yet. If you are born in a room of the house you are living, and if you always live in the same room for years, the only goal would be to open the door and go beyond, go to the other room. And then, when you are living there, you go beyond it. But when you are there, you can't know what is happening beyond it. At best, you can only realize as what you can see from the window. And right now, what I see from the window is the first dimension. But I don't know if there is something else after the first dimension.